Thank you for joining us this holiday weekend. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz here with meteorologist Tracy Bean. Tracy, I think the thing everyone is talking about is just how hot it is.
It is hot. I think we sometimes forget that how hot it gets here in Central Arkansas.
But this feels different. This feels earlier than usual.
It does feel a little bit earlier, and it's a little bit hotter than it normally is, by a few degrees, not a ton. But we can all say, and I know you won't remember this, I'm showing my age, 1980, 108, 100 for 60 on days. Can you believe that? That would just be terrible. And I remember it because I was 5. But looking at our live radar, we've got storms that popped up above the metro earlier today, just to the north, but those are beginning to move out. And as we begin to see the sunset, those will dissipate even more. Temperatures across the state right now, 95 degrees here in Central Arkansas, 82 in Clinton, and 79 in Mountain Home, just a little bit cooler there, 94 in Pine Bluff. High temperatures today was 98 here in Central Arkansas and 96 in Searcy Hot Springs, 94. But for tonight, we're going to cool off just a little bit down to 77. But tomorrow, we're looking for a high of 95 degrees. So just a little bit cooler than today, but we'll take every degree we can get.
All right, thank you, Tracy. Developing right now, the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office is investigating after a man's body was found along the 5000 block of West Hensley Road last night. The body is now being sent to the state crime lab for identification. The Sheriff's Office did tell us there is a missing persons report from that area, but could not confirm if it's connected to this investigation. We will, of course, continue to keep you updated as we learn more. And you may have noticed that flags were at half staff around the state yesterday. It's in memory of former state Supreme Court Justice Robin French Winn. His memorial sermon happened on Friday morning, bringing together those honoring his life. Hundreds filled Pulaski Heights Methodist Church for the ceremony. Justice Winn died from leukemia last month at the age of 70. Winn, who grew up in Fordyce, began serving on the Supreme Court in 2015. And during his career, he also served as a prosecutor and state representative. Today, Conway Regional announced that they ended their contract with United Healthcare. This is the latest in a story we first told you about in May. More than 250 physicians and healthcare providers in Conway are now considered out of market if you have United Healthcare. Conway Regional and United haven't been able to come up with a reimbursement rate for their care, leading to the healthcare provider ending that relationship. Now, summer is usually a pretty busy time for business here in Central Arkansas, but one bar is telling THV11's Jalissa Garza that this is normally a good thing, but this summer they're seeing a pretty big uptick in underage kids using fake IDs.
Over at the Hillcrest Fountain, they're preparing for another busy night.
It's a great thing. There's a lot of people back home from college that are usually not here all the time.
With larger crowds expected this time of year, they make sure to have enough hands on deck.
We have extra bartenders behind the bar. We have a person working at the front door to check the IDs and to make sure people aren't coming in and out with drinks.
Checking IDs is important for a bar, but even more so now with fake IDs popping up more often than before.
It just seems like this year there's been an influx of it because they are more available for these kids to get online.
Assistant Manager Colleen Elbert says they've come across 50 fake IDs in just the last 2 months.
It has their actual picture, their name, their address on it. Some of them are out-of-state IDs, some of them are even Arkansas IDs. So we ask for a second form of identification to sort of prove that it's them, and if we're uncomfortable with it, we just send them away.
Sarah Bryant is the owner and says this could hurt businesses in Central Arkansas.
If we got caught with 3 minors, we could lose our liquor license and shut us down, and that affects everyone here plus me.
She says they're doing everything they can to make sure this doesn't happen.
Feel it, we have flashlights to shine on it to try to tell the hologram. It's difficult, but I think we're doing as good a job as human beings can do.
In Little Rock, Jalissa Garza, THV11 News.
And they say some fake IDs are even able to fool barcode scanners that restaurants keep at the door. Other businesses tell us they're also seeing an uptick in fake IDs being used this summer. And if you're cooking at home this weekend, What says 4th of July better than a barbecue? Well, here are some things you need to keep in mind before you turn on the grill. Keep raw meats away from other food to avoid cross-contamination. Consider getting a meat thermometer to make sure what you're serving is safe. And finally, don't double dip. The pandemic might be over, but you could still spread bacteria that might make someone sick. Now, a record of Americans are expected to travel for the long holiday weekend, and Christian Benavides is reporting on how people are getting to their destination.
Americans traveling for the long holiday weekend are mostly doing so by car. AAA projects nearly 51 million people will travel 50 miles or more to their destination. Dustin Frieder is driving from Texas to Colorado.
I looked at the prices. It would cost me over $2,000 to fly 4 people out there.
Those traveling by air are looking for independence from what was a disastrous week for air travel nationwide. Severe weather leading to 8,500 cancellations and some 50,000 delays. Roland Simmons was caught in the chaos.
Once my connecting flight got canceled, I knew I was going to beg at every counter that I get to. I almost lost it. Actually, that last leg, I understood how people lose it on flights.
More than 4 million air travelers are projected this weekend, and the threat of severe weather hasn't gone away. Rounds of severe storms are expected in parts of the Midwest and East through the weekend. The National Weather Service is also warning of hot and dry conditions in the Southwest, with temperatures well into the triple digits. Overall, more than 80 million people are under heat alerts nationwide. Add to that, parts of the country continue to grapple with poor air quality from those wildfires in Canada. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
And according to FlightAware on Saturday, there were about 3,000 delays reported at U.S. airports. Right now, in the latest twist in the LEARNS Act, a circuit court judge has once again put the law on hold. A ruling by Judge Herbert Wright finds that lawmakers have been violating the state constitution with the way they vote on laws that they want to take effect right away. The LEARNS Act is a sweeping education reform plan pushed by Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and it's among several passed last session with an emergency clause. Judge Wright found that the practice of voting on the bill and the clause at the same time is incorrect, and he says there should be 2 separate votes, and so instead the LEARNS law goes into effect on August 1st. 2 major Supreme Court decisions Friday could have sweeping effects on gay rights and a plan for student loan forgiveness. Bradley Blackburn has the latest on the reaction to the rulings and how President Biden is promising to fight back.
Outside the Supreme Court, there was anger and frustration at the White House, too.
I believe the court's decision to strike down my student debt relief program was a mistake, was wrong.
In a 6-3 decision, the court struck down President Biden's executive order that canceled or reduced some $400 billion in student loan debt. But the president says he has another plan to fulfill a campaign promise.
This new path is legally sound. It's going to take longer.
Some 40 million Americans would have qualified for up to $20,000 in loan forgiveness. Conservatives declared victory.
The executive branch does not have the authority to spend taxpayer money like this.
Like many across the country, student Mariana Reza in Texas is trying to figure out what it means for her loans.
Probably I have to get another job.
In another decision, the Supreme Court sided with a Christian wedding website designer who claimed free speech exempted her from a Colorado law prohibiting businesses from discriminating against gay people.
Nobody should be forced to create a message that goes against his or her convictions.
Advocates say it's a blow not just for gay rights, but all anti-discrimination efforts.
What's next? Will it be a whites only sign in a business window, or will it be a no Jews allowed sign in a business window?
In a dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote, "The court, for the first time in its history, grants a business open to the public a constitutional right to refuse to serve members of a protected class." Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
In a statement, President Biden called the court's decision disappointing and painful. He said, quote, "All people deserve to live free from discrimination."